What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV, where do all fights start.
Round one.
Yo, we got an amazing show for you guys here today. I need you guys to lock in on this show. Share this video. Give the video a like as you're coming in. Tap that like button. It costs you nothing. It's free. It supports the channel. I have a lot to say about this Naoya Inoue guy. I've been getting a lot of uh debates on it, and I actually been like feeling like I've been taking it easy on some of these guys, right? Because I don't really think that I'm arguing with people that are reasoning. They're just loyal fans to their guy. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna be a fan today. No fanboy shit, no hocking up, like I like to do. I like to exaggerate a little bit to make it a little bit more spicy, like with the Tyson Fury age. And but we're gonna put all facts, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put everybody's record and chart on the screen so that you could see it with your own eyes. Funbox Rec, they're very everybody's that they've said that have accomplished or done more than Naoya in a way. I want to see what they're talking about. And since talk is cheap, we're only going to go with facts here at Round One Sports Talk. So lock in, tune in, get your popcorn. Let's find out who's the real world's pound for pound best fighter we have today. Let's find out. Don't forget to hit that like button for me, people. Cause man, I'm telling you, we got another one for you here. All right, listen. We're gonna quickly unravel this because this is gonna might take a little bit, right? Because I'm gonna put him a Naoya Inoue against the best of the best. Okay, so they can't say that, whose record is who. We're gonna put him up against Saul Canelo Alvarez. We're gonna put him up against Terrence Crawford. We're gonna put him up against Usyk. We're gonna put him against any champion or anybody you guys want me to uh bring up. I will put him up on the screen right now. So we're gonna kick this off real fast. What's up, everybody? What's up, Frontline? What's up, um what's up, Fire? What's up, Mexico Boxing #1? What's up, Mark? Kill Fire. Okay, let's go. Here we go, guys. Check it out. All right. This is the man in question right here. This is Naoya the Monster Inoue, right? Okay, he comes to us with an impressive record of 30 fighters with 27 big ways by knockout. He has a 90% knockout ratio, right? He's 32 years old. He's a Japanese fighter, orthodox, 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. Currently in the world today, he is currently ranked among Japan fighters in the super bantamweight division. There are currently 143 registered Japanese fighters. He is #1 in the world, where it says the black globe right here. This is worldwide. Worldwide in the super bantamweight division, there are currently 1,394 registered fighters in the super bantamweight division. He is currently #1. He is #1 across the board. Okay, let's get into this. Mr. Naoya Inoue, at a really young age of 19 years old, it says it right here, his debut. He started his career 2012, 10, 2, right? Okay. So from his very first fight, you're going to see it right here. Here are the rounds in the fight right here, what is scheduled. It says the fight went 4 rounds. It was an 8 scheduled round fight. It says it right there. He has 2 8 scheduled round fights and 2 10 scheduled round fights. By his 5th professional fight, he had already started fighting 12-round fights. Okay? And if you haven't noticed, his first 3 fighters, Naoya Inoue, at the ripe age of 19, he stopped all 3 of his first fights, right? He went the distance in the 10-round fight. That he had a unanimous decision right there in the 10-round fight right there. Okay. So on average, your typical boxer's boxing career will usually start on a 4-round fight, a 6-round scheduled fight, or sometimes in rare cases like Naoya Inoue, that he came out the gate hot and ready like a Little C's pizza, right? He came out with an 8-round fight. Now, in its perspective, Naoya Inoue, when did he win his first world title? Well, you wouldn't have to look far. Right here. Adrian Hernandez, right? Let me fix this screen right here because I believe that I could be giving you a better perspective here. There we go. I just want to make sure that and in fact, let me enhance this for you. Much better, right? We're going to get that real nice and bold. That way, no one is uninformed on what's going on here. Okay? Adrian Hernandez right here. Naoya Inoue fought him for his first world title. Wait a minute. He came into that fight with only 5 professional fights. By his 6th professional fight, he had already won his first world title. The reason why I bring this up, because we can go right now on BoxRec, and I dare you, put them in the comment right now, so help me out, guys. Okay, this is Usyk. Let's start at the top. Usyk started his professional career with a 6-round scheduled fight. That's what he started, not a 4. He went 6, 8, 8, 10. Very impressive. Very impressive. But when did it take him to win his first world title? When did he compete for his first world title? Well, right here, you see quickly belts right here, the WBO, right? This is not like the full title. This is an interim version of the WBO. And he only did that in how many professional fights? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 fights. Check that out. It was a 10-round fight. Wasn't a 12 like Naoya anyway. But for a big guy, that's fucking pretty good. Might not be like a real world title, right? But he fucking got it. Only 6 fights. That's good. That's good right there, right? Let's see. He defended that belt a lot. And then right here, he won his first real world title. He won his first real world title against this guy right here. And he only had how many fights coming into that? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 fights, and he was a world champion. Usyk. He comes to us with a record of 23-14 in the world. He is ranked number 1 in the heavyweight division. There are 1,577 heavyweight men, fighters. He is number 1. As far as Ukrainian fighters, there are 31 ranked heavyweight Ukrainian fighters. He is number 1. He has a 60% knockout ratio. He stands at 6'3", and he is a southpaw. He's a remarkable 38 years old. He ain't getting no younger, right? But he, out of everybody that I've looked up, he's got the best shot to mirror Naoya Inoue. It might not be his equal, right? But that's pretty good for a big guy like that. You got to acknowledge that shit. So why don't we check out other champions? So Naoya Inoue was a world champion at 6. He was at 9. Well, the interim, you know what I'm saying? But he got that. So, okay, wait a minute. Who else we got here? Let's go with Saul. Okay, Saul got an impressive record, right? He got 63 professional fights, 39 knockouts, 2 losses. Saul Canelo Alvarez is a Mexican fighter. In the world, there are 1,765 registered fighters. There are 151 Mexican registered fighters. He is 34 years old. This guy gets younger by the year. I just remember him from ever. He's a clone. Oh my God, this guy's been here forever, man. He has a 61% knockout ratio, and he is currently the undisputed champion of the world at 168 pounds. Saul Canelo Alvarez really needs no introduction. He is a global superstar. Okay. Now, Saul Canelo Alvarez started his young career in a 4-round fight. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4-round fights. Then he went up to 6-round fights. He had 1, 2, 3, 6-round fights, then an 8-round fight, then 10s. Do they remain all 10? Then he goes 12, 10, and back down to an 8. Then he's back to 12, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 12, 12, 12. Okay, so, back down to 10, 12, 12. I'm trying to get a steady rhythm of 12 where I could definitely say where that, okay, he was just a 12-round fighter. Basically from right here, I think. From Lovemore, right here. Lamore. He 12-round fights. I think they were all 12-round fights. Wow. So it took him a very long time. And then right recently after just going steady 12-round fights, he lost to the one and only Floyd Mayweather Jr. So what was the first time Saul Canelo Alvarez had a world title? And the thing that messes me up here, because if any of them had a world title with the WBA, it won't be here. And that's what screws things up. But I got to use my boxing intuitive mind to be able to catch any situation like that. So, wow. So the Latino, that's not a belt. We can't count that, puppy. The YMCA youth belt? No, we can't count that as a belt. Okay. The silver, we can't count that. Nah, no silver, puppy. Right here. Right here. So, without the WBA belts here, according to Box Rec, Saul Canelo Alvarez won the WBC World Super Welterweight Championship, which was a vacated title, okay, in a 12-round decision, unanimous decision, right? So that took him only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 36 fights. It took Saul Canelo Alvarez 36 fights to compete for his first world title. 36 fights. It took Usyk 9. It took Naoya in a way 6. And now let's check out the one and only Terrence Crawford. We got to pull him up then. Let's check out Terrence Crawford. Okay, Mr. Terrence Crawford has got an impressive record with 41 fights, 31 big ways by knockout. And globally in the world, there are 2,236 fighters registered in his division. He is currently number 1. In America, there are 347 registered fighters. He is the current number 1 consensus around the board. Mr. Terrence Crawford is the young age of 37 years old. He's 5'8". They got him listed as a southpaw. He could switch it up. He could fight. He could do both. He has a 75% knockout ratio, and he started his young career in 2008. He has a 74-inch arm reach. Now, on average, what we were talking about here is how you start. Mr. Terrence Crawford started his career with a 4-round fight, 2 4-round fights, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 His first 10 fights were 4-round fights. Then he moves up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6-round fights. Then there's another 6, right here. He went up to 8, back up to 8, back up to 8, 10. Okay, there are no belts here, right around there. So he fought for the WBO World Light Championship of the world right here. Oh, right here, I might have went a little fast here. The NABO, that doesn't count. So Ricky Burns was his first title fight, according to this. Ricky Burns, right? So on average, he fought 10 4-round fights, which kills the debate right there with Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue never had a 4-round fight. Um, so how many belt fights were that before he competed for his first world title, Mr. Terrence Crawford? Count with me. All right, let's go. Oh shit, I clicked on homeboy. All right, Ricky Burns right here. All right, how many fights was that? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22 fights. So his 23rd fight was for his first world title. Naoya Inoue had already become a world champion in his sixth professional fight. So on average, how long did it take these men to become two division world champions? So if it took Terrence Crawford 23 fights, for instance, to be a one division world champion, uh, and which I think that was at 135 because his first belt was like at a low weight. I didn't even look at it. Let's check it out. That Ricky Burns fight got to be at low weight. If not, then that was a WBA world title. Where am I? I already passed that shit. He's already doing remarkable shit. I'm going too fast. Where the fuck is it? Where am I going? Oh, right here. Okay. All right. So yeah, that was at 134. Ricky Burns. Yeah, that was his first world title, his 23rd. So how much longer did it take him to get to 140? So he defends it right here against Gamboa, and he defends it here. Then he goes up to 140 and he fights for the WBO. So by this time, he was a two division world champion, right? Okay. So that's 23, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26. It took him 26 fights to be a two division world champion for Terrence Crawford. Naoya Inoue became a two division world champion in 8 fights. 8 fights. And only 8 fights. Look, we got to go back to him because talk is cheap. I got to prove it, right? Okay, here it is. There he is. There's Naoya Inoue. We broke it down. Just count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's already a world champion. That's his first world championship. One title defense right here. Jumps up not one weight division, but 2 weight division. He jumped over the 112, immediately fought the champion at 115. So at 115, he fought Omar Narvaez here. When Omar Narvaez came into that fight with a record of 34 fights with 1 loss, the only loss he ever had up until that point was against none other than Rachel Donair. So by these 8 professional fight, Naoya Inoue, at the ripe age of 20 years old, he's a kid, younger than Xander Zion. So when you guys are saying, let's push these fighters right along, right away, you guys are saying, what did these fighters do? He hadn't impressed me. With only 7 professional fights, he fought a guy with a record of 43 fights and only 1 loss. And his entire career, all the way up until that point, he's never taken a standing 8 count. He never been knocked down. I should say knocked down. He beats him and becomes a 2 division world champion in only 8 fights. Let's see what the other champions did. Let's see how good these guys are that you guys are claiming. Let's see. Uzi got the best chance, I think. Uzi got the best chance because Uzi started off hot, as you guys can see. Look at, he had a 6 round. Nope. He didn't play around, bro. My man was on a mission. He was already grabbing those interim belts. You see, he was already molding himself to the champion he's become. You know what I mean? Uzyk's a force to be reckoned with, bro. Right? So you see right here in the cruiserweight, this is where he made his mark. The only reason why Naoya Inoue is gonna break away from Usyk is only one reason. It's that Usyk doesn't have multiple weight divisions. Usyk only has 2 weight divisions. That's it. That's all he has. He doesn't have. He has a strong like resume, right? Because you got to remember, Usyk only has 23 fights, bro. 23 professional fights. Terrence Crawford was fighting for his first world title with Usyk's record, with his entire record. Terrence is finally coming into his first world title fight with 23 fights that Usyk got. And Usyk up to date already got 2 divisions, 4 belts with only 23 fights. Usyk did the better of all of them. Usyk was he got Saul didn't do that in only 23 fights is what I'm saying. In 23 fights. You know what Saul did later? The men that Saul fought, I think Saul got the better record. Like as when it comes to names. Saul definitely got the better. Come on, bro. Come on, Usyk don't got no record like when it comes to names like Saul. There's no way. There's no way you can convince me. So listen, I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell anybody that's not real familiar. Yo, Saul Canelo Alvarez got a decent amount of names on his record, bro. That you man, listen. Come on, man. Stop playing. Listen, this beats everybody. That beats everybody on y'all listens. Y'all ain't messing with Saul when it comes to name. Come on, man. He was small, but hey, he came up. Yeah, Saul got some pretty decent freaking names, bro. So it doesn't get really that much better from here. Like, it'll start being fighters like Billy Joe Saunders. Speaking of which, Caleb Plant. You know, yo, Caleb Plant's a good scout, bro. Caleb Plant is a good scalp. You know, now I'm sharing the ring, losing or fighting with Demetrius Bivol. He's got these names, man. He's got the triple G's, man. Come on. He's even got the freaking Charlo twins. The Jaime Munguia had to join them and got bagged for some dope. But hey, that's another story. But when it comes to names, no, these guys didn't do enough. But Saul Canelo Alvarez, bro, he fell off the conversation when it comes to dominance being earlier in your career, and that's where we were at with these guys, right? And I have to go back to the man in question, which is Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue, look, I'm gonna show you. And this is the shit I'm talking about in comparison to when they say that Naoya Inoue is not the best, right? And they say that Naoya Inoue doesn't have the better record amongst everybody else, that all these other guys got better records. And I'm saying, how so? How's that possible? Right? How's that possible? Because I want them to show me, right? Because I'm showing you guys right now, right? Okay. Here's the problem with some of these guys is theories, right? You would have to at least meet this standard right here, what I'm about to show you. This is, you gotta at least do this, right? In order to be in the conversation, right? Check this out. The problem with the way Naoya Inoue did it, right? He was already a 2-time undisputed world champion in only 8 professional fights. He cleared out 2 separate weight divisions, 118 and 122. It only took him a year to clean out both of those divisions, meaning on average, how long did it take Terrence Crawford to unify all 4 belts at 140, and how long did it take him to get the next 4? Same thing with Usyk. Even though Usyk fought Anthony Joshua that did most of the heavy lifting for him, he had 3 belts. Still, we have to take in consideration the time frame. How long did it take him to do that? How long did it take him to finally fight Tyson Fury and get all 4 belts? And what happened afterwards? He was stripped. He never got a chance to win all 4 belts. Now, one of the arguments is that Saul Canelo Alvarez became a 2 division undisputed world champion, where that he was stripped for one of the belts and he went back and got his belt. So that should count as 2 that Naoya Inoue never did that. I don't think you should be awarded for not obeying by not fighting your mandatory. Being stripped is not an award. It's a strike against you in your record. Naoya Inoue doesn't have that problem because he doesn't get stripped because he fights all his mandatories. That was your decision, Saul, to get stripped. By becoming a unified the second time, I don't think I should award you because of your inability to not get stripped. That's saying 2 times. That should have never happened. Naoya anyway would never let that happen. So he's out. And then the closest man that they got is Usyk. But and then Usyk falls because Naoya Inoue did his job twice. Meaning he only got 2 divisions. Naoya Inoue got 4. He's got 4. And not to mention that Naoya Inoue is coming off an 11 consecutive in a row knockout streak. His last 11 opponents, he's knocked them all out. Name me a fighter right now, currently today, that's on his 25th world title fight and defending all 4 belts, a remarkable 5 times. In his very next fight, Naoya Inoue is going to be carving his name in the history books once again. He's going to surpass Terrence Crawford, Saul Canelo Alvarez, all of them in one night. Then what are they going to say? What are they going to say next? Oh, Terrence Crawford got an opportunity to be the 3 division. Well, yes, he does. Fighting Saul, but he has to pull that off first. I can't put the cart before the horse, since I'm only being fair and judging Naoya Inoue for the work that he's done today. You understand? I'm only judging Naoya Inoue by what he did, not by what he could do. That's what we would be doing with Terrence Crawford. He ain't did that shit yet, has he? No. There is no fighter in today's history that's coming on their 25th consecutive world title fight throughout 4 weight divisions, meaning on average, on all these champions, Naoya Inoue has been a world champion 95% of his career. 95% of his career, Naoya Inoue has been a world champion. None of these guys can say that. So whether he was fighting world champions, top-notch competition, he was always a world champion. So you needed to come up to his level. And throughout boxing history, I remind the people, if this was so easy, then his boxing colleagues should have similar records. Because it's so easy to do that our records should nearly mirror each other. You might have been just the one that was slightly better than us all. But I mean, in boxing history, he is the first Japanese fighter to ever do any of these things. He's also the first fighter in the world to unify in the super bantamweight division. There is no fighter remotely, respectfully in their own weight division doing what he's doing. And I also got to remind you that the people that he's up against, all of them are in glamour divisions. Naoya Inoue is truly doing Michael Jordan shit. Tom Brady shit. Who were the Patriots before Tom Brady? Who was the Chicago Bulls before MJ? Who was the bantamweight division before Naoya Inoue? Why do you know about him? Why is he the highest paying bantamweight fighter in history? And why does everybody want to fight him? Why is a 122-pound guy ever should be in the conversation in a pound-for-pound list? He's debatable among the heavyweight champion. What does that say about this guy? Whether you like, love, or hate him, or place him 1, 2, or 3, just think for a second. Damn, that dude is special, bro. What do you got to do to get that kind of attention? Yo, he's about to go up to his 5th weight division, which technically it's his 6th. Because if you were paying close attention, I told you he jumped over 1 weight division. None of these guys did that. Not Usyk. Terrence Crawford will beat him with this super duper move, right? He's got to pull it off. But name me any of those champions that jump divisions like that. And the one beautiful thing is that I said this earlier on the other platform, right? I believe it was on Boxing Voice. I said this. I says, wow, man, I just kind of noticed this, that the top 3 guys in today's era all unified all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions. All top 3 guys in the argument for pound. I was like, damn, that's the qualifications. Now, tell me our era ain't raising the bar for pound. When's the last pound list in boxing history that you saw the top 3 guys, all of them, no matter where you put them, all 3 of them did all 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions? When's the last time you seen a pound for pound list like that? Come on, people, hit the like for me, man. Hit that like button for me. Come on, man. Come on. It's free. Just reach down. Boop. And if you hit the like button already, I advise you to go on, make a separate account, log in, and hit the like button again for me. One time. Come on. Let's go. Listen. The truth is the truth. Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't lie. If you want to talk about names, which I'm probably sure that I'm going to go up in a second in the chat when I start interacting with all you guys, once I'm done my Marlin login, I'm going to get to all your chats. If you're talking about names, don't be a prisoner in the moment. Just because you're more familiar with your fighter and the fighters he fought and not with him, I suggest you do your homework. Credit needs to be given. This kid was 19 years old. When you're talking about young Xander Zion, 22 years old, oh, he ain't done nothing yet. He should be in the fire. Naoya Inoue did that. He came into the game with no gold medal. Remember, a lot of these kids were getting fast starts. Vasily Lomachenko, 2 gold medals. The Cuban fighters, gold medals. Oscar, you know how that can catapult your career. Or you can come in young and be signed to a major boxing promotion. That's not how Naoya Inoue got his success. Naoya Inoue didn't have no gold medal. As a matter of fact, Japan didn't believe in him. They picked somebody else. When he came in the game, he didn't come in with top rank. He had to get top ranks. A look. When he fought Nonito Donair, that was a top ranked fighter, that was a pound for pound fighter when he was in his glory, right? And he beat him the way he beat him. And a lot of people said, oh, Naoya Inoue went toe to toe with old ass Nonito Donair. Really? Old ass Nonito Donair. That's where you're going with that one, right? Okay, you take Naoya Inoue out of the World Series of Boxing. Who wins it? Nonito Donair. In fact, he made it to the last qualifying round, which proves that if Naoya Inoue wasn't there would be somebody else, but Nonito Donair would definitely be there. Had it been anybody else besides Naoya Inoue, who wins the World Series of Boxing? Wow, an old man did that? He was able to beat all the young guns. No, he wasn't old. People age differently, and Nonito Donair had probably one of the best fights of his life against Naoya Inoue. There was a problem for Naoya Inoue in that fight, though. He fought 10 more rounds with a fractured orbital bone. So he wasn't sitting on his punches, and he wasn't willing to stand in the pocket and exchange big because his eye, he was seeing triple. That's why he had a 12-round shootout with the man, because he caught him early in only the 2nd round. But in the second fight, Naoya Inoue didn't play around with him, and he showed you who he is. But yet they will still give him no credit. Then they say that he fought nobody. Wow, Stephen Kubo Fulton was a nobody, an undefeated, undisputed, unified world champion at Stephen Kubo Fulton. That's nobody. Emmanuel Rodriguez was an undefeated Puerto Rican fighter as well. He's nobody. And the rest of these guys that he beat legitimately, they were world champions. You can say what you want about Paul Butler, but he was a world champion. You can say what you want about Marlon Tapales. He was a unified world champion. They were good enough not to just have one belt, but two. But yet, all of a sudden, these guys are nobodies. I know a lot of who's and nobodies on Usyk's list. In fact, I don't know anybody he fought at cruiserweight. I don't even think I saw any of his fights, really. I wasn't into Usyk or the cruiserweight division at that time. There weren't no American fighters, and at that time, I didn't have this YouTube streaming. Now I went back and I watched the fights and, and I saw the outcomes and I studied the guys that he fought. And I see, yeah, okay, he had a little bit better run that I assumed he had at cruiserweight, but still the credibility to his opponents, I couldn't give him that because I didn't know that much about them. You see, so it took me a while to try to really track down Usyk shit because you see, my thing is the heavyweight division in my eyes has been hurting for years. I kind of stopped watching the heavyweight division, in which now that I'm coming back into boxing, I'm headed on my 4th year covering and getting all the divisions into my head and the ones I focus on the most and everything and watching hundreds and hundreds of fights, so then I got myself caught up. I started getting myself caught up to what Usyk and to appreciate so that I could see who he is. So when Usyk made the transition from cruiserweight to heavyweight, I guess the guys' names for what you see, because my whole argument was that Anthony Joshua, in my eyes, I didn't think he was that guy. I never did. I was always rocking with Deontay Wilder. And I was saying, even though Deontay Wilder got that one shot, if he lands on Anthony Joshua, it's night, right? So I can remember when I was thinking back, I'm putting my mindset back then, right? And I was thinking that, Joshua's not that dude. They hyping him up out there. I always felt that way about Anthony Joshua, and that's my personal, no matter if he was that good or not. But because I'm talking about also how I felt in those moments, and then I'll lead to what I know now to be true, right? So then I had Wilder. So I never really saw and then when Tyson Fury made his run, and then when he went through that episode in his life, he vacated all 3 belts. Then he was on his couch. Deontay Wilder said those famous words to get him off his couch. And he had a rocky boxing career. Drugs and alcohol was no secret. Mental health played a part in Tyson Fury's career. Speed things up today, right? Anthony Joshua gets beat by Anthony the Destroyer Ruiz, and then Tyson Fury goes life tooth and nail with Francis Ngannou. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, they're feeding the public that AJ was like this ferocious dude. And then after Usyk, he gets brutally knocked out by Dubois. Out of all fighters, Dubois that quit on Joyce, the Dubois that quit against Usyk. So Usyk can beat him, knock him out, but he can't knock out AJ. That AJ brutally knocks him out. Then you didn't knock out Tyson Fury. Nobody really knocks out Tyson Fury, right? Right? But the only thing I can't take away from Usyk, his skill. Now that's a different conversation. that's a different conversation. Usyk's skill, the way he was able to do it. Now, when I break him down there for skill wise, what he did for big men like that, uh, that's not fucking easy to do, bro. That is not easy to do. To go from cruiser to heavyweight, bro, that's fucking ridiculous. I mean, you're walking into the division with the most power. Let's call it for what it is. The most powerful division, the most dangerous division in all of boxing is heavyweight division. It's the only division where both men equally have the opportunity to literally knock you out with one punch. Basically, every heavyweight champion does have knockout power. They're just fighting against bigger men. But let that same guy punch you in the face. See if he doesn't knock you out. He has one punch knockout power. I'm trying to tell you. They're just big men, really big men. So doing skilled wise what Usyk did, if we were breaking it down like that, you got to give Uzi a lot of fucking props, bro. A lot of props. AJ, no matter what, he loses to fucking this dude, but he still had skills. And then he tried to fight I'm not gonna say a broken version of AJ, but an AJ that was trying to will himself in confidence. AJ did throw more volume of punches in their second fight, just like Tyson Fury did. It was basically the same fight twice over. The Dubois fight really misleads you because of the turnaround that Dubois has done in his career. So out of all argument's sake, for all argument's sake, even though Usyk doesn't have a long, lengthy career, I understand he only has two divisions. That hurts him because when you're putting him against four division champion Terrence Crawford, right? Which Terrence Crawford has four weight divisions, man. Okay, you can't ignore 4-2. And just because it was probably tough, yeah, everybody has tough fights. Terrence Crawford had a tough fight, but he made it look easy. How about that? How about the fact that when Terrence Crawford went in with Errol Spence Jr., there isn't a person in the fucking planet that can convince me they saw that fight playing out exactly like that. You're a liar. I thought Errol had more fight than that in him. Bro, I was literally in my living room, like looking into the TV saying, stop the fight. Yo, Terrence Crawford, stop putting your hands on that man like that. I wanted to climb in the ring and fight Terrence Crawford to save Errol. If I was in attendance, bro, I would have jumped. Get your hands off him. Get off him. Bro, I would have fought him. I would have fought him. I didn't see that coming. It was hard, bro. I had to look away, bro. Terrence Crawford was smacking him so easy at some point. Yo, Errol Spence Jr. looked like that mountain lion that he be on like the Buzz Bunny. He'd be like drinking coffee or tea, and he'd be getting him. He'd be like, "How many lumps you want?" He's like, "4 lumps." Boop, 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 boop. And he tear his forehead up, and he's twisted like this. He's like, he's messed up, and he's like, "You want any more lumps?" He's like, maybe 2 more lumps, and then boop, boop. And then he's like, "Oh, no more." Yo, he had like the lumps on top of his lumps. Errol's mom didn't recognize him. Yo, he beat the brakes off the. I never would have expected that. I never would have expected that kind of performance. And then when you look at these kind of performances, like what did these guys over like? What was their obstacle? How big was his obstacle? Well, Usyk standing there, and his obstacle is 6'9". That's his fucking obstacle, right? So he's looking at it like this fucking giant right here, right? He's like, damn, right? And Terrence Crawford obstacle was Errol, right? And then Naoya Inoue's obstacle came in a wave of 2. It came in a wave of 2. Undefeated Stephen Kubo Fulton, unified world champion, laying in the wing. Undefeated, unified world champion Marlon Tapales that just derailed undefeated champion MJ Akmadalia. That's how good Marlon Tapales was. He didn't fight one guy. He fought two unified world champions. He fought two unified world champions back to back. So this guy's fighting a 6'8" guy, and this guy's fighting arguably the toughest fight of, rumored, but Terrence made it look so fucking easy that it kind of killed the notion that on the other side there wasn't much competition. It was a one-sided event. There was no fight. You understand? So, and then you look back at Naoya Inoue, right? And you're like, okay, how long it took you to get your four like that? Naoya Inoue got 8 belts in 1 year. These guys can't beat him with that. Naoya Inoue is coming on his 25th consecutive world title fight in a row. His last 25 fights in a row throughout 4 weight divisions have been for all world title fights. Terrence Crawford's fighting once a year, basically. There was that one that he had that little gap where he fought twice. But besides that, on average, is what I'm saying, because I know you guys are going to say this. He's fighting once a year for the last past 5 years. How could you put one fight a year against fighting 4 times a year? The more you enter the ring, the more you take chances of everything being taken away from you. Right? Usyk's fighting how many times a year is he fighting? I believe he fought twice back to back of Tyson Fury in that year. He fought him in the same year. He fought Tyson Fury in like 7 months or some shit like that, I remember, right? Let me look it up. Let me not just talk out the side of my ass. Let me get the numbers. I'll get you the real numbers right now. I'll be right with you. All right. So I remember it though. I remember. Here we are. His last fight, 2024, December 21st. He fought Tyson Fury same year, December 2014, 5/18. You see, May. So he fought him in May, and then he fought him in December in the same year. So Usyk fought twice a year in that year. Then in 2023, he only fought once. He fought Daniel Dubois. And in 2022, he fought AJ. And then in 2021, he fought AJ again. So the only year since 2021 to 2025, Usyk's only fought twice a year, 1 year, and that was just this year that passed. Naoya Inoue fought. Naoya Inoue has fought. I don't even have to look at his record. I can tell you this off the top of my head. He fought 4 times this year. He fought 4 times last year. He fought 3 times the year before that, I think it was. Matter of fact, let's not guess. Like I said, let's just look it up. It's right there. Okay. Naoya Inoue, yeah, he's just more active, bro. He puts more on the line. His last 4 fights have been for 4 belts. His last 11 fights, he's knocked out all 11 of the fighters. Since Naoya Inoue became world champion, from the first belt he ever got to present day, Naoya Inoue has been world champion for 11 consecutive years. Since the moment he became a world champion to today, his career is a little over 11 years long. He's been a world champion for 11 consecutive years. And this fight right here, right now, is for another 4 belts. It'll be 5 times. Devin Haney defended his belts twice. Saul Canelo Alvarez defended him 4 times, I think it was. Josh Taylor defended them, I think he did. Who else? Terrence Crawford never defended none of his belts. Usyk didn't defend his belts at heavyweight. Uh, I think he did defend them at cruiser. I gotta check that out. The WBA belt be messing me up there though because it doesn't show up. So unless I know my history, like I would have to So yeah, when I come in mind of thinking of fighters that are doing this shit, there's very few fighters that are putting up all four belts. You guys give this guy his respect. His last 5 fights in a row have been for 4 belts. Never mind fighting for 1 belt, 2 belts, or 3 belts. I mean, Teofimo Lopez's claim to fame is winning 3 belts. He never actually had the 4th belt. Neither did Vasily. And just winning 3 belts, look at the credibility they got. Devin Haney unified all 4 belts in one separate weight division, and he's the youngest man in boxing history to do so. There are a lot of rewards here. When we look back at these men and women's career, we cannot ignore this 5'5", 122-pound weight guy because he's in a small weight division. It's just like you being at work and the guy upstairs is fucking off and you're downstairs in the lower level doing double the work. You know this company can't function without you. And this guy, because he's married to the boss's daughter or something, is getting all the credit. Is that right? Is that right? Or do you just keep pushing on in your job, hoping one day somebody recognizes your work? This Japanese dude is doing all their stuff in half the time. And people want to argue names, opponents. Oh, if I don't know this guy or this guy was better or bigger or stronger or he was weighed more. I don't think none of that shit matters. That's all distractions for people can lower the bar to get their fighter next to a great one that did it on the up and up. Naoya Inoue wasn't standing there with his hand out looking for a handout. In fact, in his clause, in his contract, no bullshit, he told the guy, the only way I sign with you is you get me to a world title fight as quick as possible. And you make sure that I only fight the best fighters in the world. Other than that, I don't want to do business with you. Can you get me that? And in only his 6th professional fight, he had already fought for a world title. In 8 fights, he was a 2-division world champion. He entered the World Series of Boxing and won the Covenant Muhammad Ali trophy and walked out of that trophy with 3 belts. Later on, going on at 118 and unifying all 4 belts against Paul Butler. He brutalized Paul Butler, turned him into a human punching bag. And then after winning all 4 belts, and at the 118, 30 days after winning all 4, he vacated them. They said, Naoya, anyway, you don't got to vacate him. You could hold him hostage like Terrence Crawford does because everybody else does it. He says, I don't want to hold up nobody's career. They said, but what if you lose? He says, I'm not losing. I'm vacating all my belts. As a matter of fact, who is the toughest man in the existing weight division, which is 122? They said Stephen Kubo Fulton. He's undefeated, slick American style. He doesn't have 1 but 2 belts. Naoya Inoue, you better tread carefully because you're the smaller guy. We don't know if his power is going to translate. Oh, he has loaded hand wraps. Naoya Inoue said, then wrap them the way you want. He went out there and brutalized that man. Stephen Kubo Fulton didn't win 1 round. What did the naysayers have to say after that? Shit. They quickly said that Stephen Kubo Fulton wasn't that guy. After how quick they turned on their own guy. Just not to give credit to him. But that's cool because that was built. That kind of talk and that kind of not giving him an acknowledgement is the reason why Naoya Inoue, I believe, has a part to do with his success. They didn't believe it. No one did. They thought he was a hype job. They said all this shit about him. They couldn't believe it. And when they showed him his picture, hell yeah, I'll fight that guy. Right? Sign me up. Looks like he should be singing in a Japanese boy band. Right? But under that facade, he was a killer. A real boxing technician with power. Good footwork. Shit, not good footwork. Great footwork. Good placement. Distant understanding. The way he was systematically taking these fighters apart, people didn't understand it. They don't understand that when they say these phrases, there's levels to this. Well, when you're actually witnessing it, why can't you identify that? Why can't you identify he's that much better than everybody else? What they would rather do is say, no, the other guy sucks. Or it had to be something else. He's been facing his biggest challenges now at 122. I know he has belts in 4, but this is technically his 5th weight division. He's already in a place where there's a 1% of men in the history of boxing have ever been. He's in the 1% right now as an active fighter. It's really up to Terrence Crawford to pull that off, to kind of like, because I'm not sure if Naoya Inoue can ever do some shit like that. I'm not going to sit here and just say he's going to go up to 126 and beat everybody and take all their belts. That's easier said than done. Sometimes I think you can push the envelope too far. And I don't think that he was born with the God-gifted frame to go any further. If he does go to 126, I think he'll only fight one guy, Nick Ball. Rumors say that Junto Nakatoni in his camp, his management, had hinted to the possibility. Rudy Hernandez said that he wanted to Naoya Inoue to bypass the 122 entirely and go to 126 and fight Espinoza for his belt. So that if he beats Espinoza, Naoya Inoue would meet him in a mega Japanese showdown, which would also be a unification. That would be historical. There's a lot of legacy leading into these possibilities. But before we get there, we need to pump our brakes. There's a lot of things that need to transpire in between time, right? So, that's just wishful thinking. As for right now, Naoya Inoue is scheduled to fight MJ in September. So now I'm going to go up to read you guys' chats. What's up, guys? What's up, Julio? How you doing in the building, baby? Nice. You can join us. My man Inoue, man, whether you love, hate him or not, you got to admit how interesting this guy truly is. Really, really, really.
Round 1.
All right, let's get up here, man. God, we got a lot of what's up. We got a lot. Hey, yo, Frontline, what are you doing? You want to hop on and help me out with these messages here? I also want to twist up something real quick. And I got a lot of things on the side here I'm still going to be putting up. So, Frontline, I'm dropping that in. I hate when this is on, so I'm gonna take this off at least. Yeah, I'm definitely taking that off. And then I'm gonna put that. What's up, Tro? How you doing in the building? Legend, how you doing? Alvarez, how you doing? Richard, how you doing, Richard? Frontline in the building. I'm not sure if Tank Davis has the ability to bully Naoya in a way, right? Because in order to bully a fighter, you would have to have enough pressure and track him down, right? I think that Naoya Inoue has one of the best footwork in boxing. His distance management and his ability to go around fighters. There's been 100 freaking thousand fighters that try to pressure Naoya Inoue. Marlon Tapales tried it. Stephen Kubo Fulton tried that intimidating tactic on him. He's come up against Mexican fighters before, Filipino fighters that feel pressure type fighters. And Naoya Inoue just moved around them so effortlessly. What's up, Frontline?
What's happening?
What up, Frontline, man? Yeah. Hey, yo, scroll all the way up and give some love to the chat while I twist up over here. So I want you to go all the way up. I'm on
Fuck,
the wait. Let's see
fuck
here.
the chat.
Fuck the chat. What you arguing with the chat now?
Nah. We good.
All right. Come on, man.
All right. So
What?
this only lets me go far back as where it says Mexican boxing #1 says Mexico dominates.
Mexico dominates, man. I'm all the
Uh,
way up here with Tony, Tony Cat, Racer, Ashley, okay, let me read.
Hold on. Tell me where you want me to start at.
Okay,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
you. I
Start
got
where
you.
you start where you are. Just start going down right from there.
So Tony Kart Racer, in a way, destroyed everyone in his path. Always seeking the best to challenge himself. It's funny when people say his competition is weak, but go look at the record of his opponents. Then he also says they have the best win ratio than everyone on the pound for pound list.
Hmm.
Mark
It, yep. Go ahead. Keep going.
Mark says Usyk fighting is an ultimate weight class. It's hard to beat. If he beats Dubois, he should still be #1 until if Inoue beats Junto and Bell. That's where I guess he's saying Inoue will become #1 pound for pound.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mexican boxing talking shit, saying George stopping Zayas.
Mm, 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 mm.
Cali Fire says Inoue is a great lower weight champ, but he is no Pacquiao because Naoya's weight cap dominance is 122. We talked about that before. I always said it.
Yeah, yeah. I always,
Tw-
yeah.
26 hit different.
Yeah. I always said this anyway, and she's right. Nail in a way ain't no Pacquiao. He didn't lose, and he don't get knocked out. Move on.
Tro says, and Manny is no Ali because weight, such a dumb excuse for skills. LOL. But you're right. Just saying. Um, then he agreed because I said in the chat when I was talking to Cali. I said 26
Yeah.
is too much. He agreed. Richard says, long time no see, Edwin. Um, Tony says, in a way, stop Fulton, and Fulton is a 126 champ now.
Yep.
Cali says, smash the likes. In a way, deliver, says Tro. Tro says, yeah, Tony, many of the champs, in a way, beats, becomes a champ again after in a way loss.
Yep.
Cali Fire says, tell in a way running back with Fulton at 30 because Steph said on Andre Ward Pod, he been struggling cutting weight. He talk about Fulton struggling cutting weight to stay at 22.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that all the people that Naoya in a way have fought, four men have gone on to become world champion once again.
Yeah. Tro says I got Usyk #1, but I can see how and why people would have Inoue, Bud, Nello, etc. I wouldn't if that happens. Cali, he's talking to Cali. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. Cali, he's talking about the Fulton rematch. Mark talking to Tro says 5. Taguchi, lineal unified at 108, IBF and WBA. Manny, IBF 118. Maloney, WBO 118. Donair, WBC 118. And Fulton, WBC at 26. Let's see where we
Those
at
are
here.
all champions that went on to become yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Right.
Richard asked, "What do you think about July 12th fights?" Which he's talking about the Berlanga
Subriel,
versus
yes.
Shiraz,
Yep, with Subriel, all of them. Yep.
Shakur versus Camarón, Subriel, Puello versus Subriel, and Morel. Nobody's really talking about that Morel fight either.
No, they're not. I haven't heard, and I go on a lot of channels, and I'm always around these rooms. No one, and I mean no one. They hinted about it, and it was just like, yeah, yeah, good fight, and quickly moved on.
Is it still official though?
Yeah, from what I see. But I guess it's not getting that buzz because of all the other names
Bro,
on the
that card
card,
is
or
stacked.
it's just stacked. Yeah, so there's so many outcomes, and I'm expected to see an upset. Where it comes from, I don't know. My spider senses always in boxing that, when we get closer to these fights, somebody is going to get upset. Just don't know it could be Shakur Stevenson.
That's
Could be
that's I was just gonna say that's where I see the upset.
it could be
Camarón and
Berlanga,
Stevenson.
it could be Sobria Matias, bro. It could be freaking David Morrell. I mean, I it did the I think someone somewhere on this card is gonna get upset, or we're gonna see something. And I'm hoping we get an action-packed card because we really need it.
Well,
Okay. And
you
wait,
know
wait, wait.
Morel's a
Yep.
banger.
Yep.
Suriel's a banger.
Okay.
Puello's a runner. Camarón, I'm keeping it 100. He fights
Puello
off
can
his back
fight.
foot. Yeah, he could.
Puello can fight. Puello can
But he's
fight.
not in the pocket like that though. You get
Well,
what I'm saying?
sometimes he does. Sometimes he does. His last fights he didn't. I don't know, but I've seen Puello in situations where he uh he showed his skill on the inside. He has real good sleeky body shots. He has stopped opponents where they didn't come out. He no mas a few guys, Puello. Not as many as Subriel.
Oh, hold
No,
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
no.
hold on. I'm gonna
But he
correct you on this one.
what's up?
His first 19 fights
Yep.
were in DR,
Yep.
and that's where he got his 10 knockouts.
Padded
W-
records. We see him all the time.
Once he came to the US,
Yep.
he hasn't knocked down or out anybody
Okay.
after that.
Yeah.
So that goes to show you that as the competition steps up, yes, he can box. We got to give it to him. He can,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he's not. He's not knocking out. I mean, he's not definitely not knocking out no Subriel. I can tell you that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But I can see to be honest, I see the fight 50-50.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's how I see it. That's how I see it. Look. Sometimes fighters, Subriel Matias, for instance, have been a world champion already leading into this fight. So he already knows what it's like to be a world champion. Alberto Puello's been a world champion for a little bit of time now. So both men are battle tested and world champion caliber fighters. Okay. What's at stake and what's at the line for a lot of us, pride. And for them, their career. Subriel Matias, 32 years old. He needs to win. We all know that there is no secret. And when we're talking about, being able to wave our flag proudly, whether you want to adopt this or not, Subriel, you represent us. He knows that.
yeah,
So
he ain't going to bow down. He
wait,
know.
Subriel, you owe me a night, bro. On my birthday, you lost in Puerto Rico. All right. So Subriel, let me tell you, as a Puerto Rican, bro, yeah, I feel like everything's riding on you. That's a real world title fight. Edgar Berlanga, you got the popular vote, but that's no belt on the line. You're actually bringing us a world title to Puerto Rico. Edgar Berlanga can't do that. Although prestigious of a night, popular vote, and I'm supporting him, and we know what the moment and what's at stake for him for his next opportunity to go up. We understand that. But we're talking about legacy. We're talking about belts. The biggest award. Why do we do this? For these belts. So Brielle has that on the line.
And it's for the WBC too.
That's right. For that green belt. and then you can use that as leverage. But let's not go that far. First, you need to pull it off.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot at stake, as fans too. I pay my money to go see Sabrina on my dime, because I believe in them. I fought traffic. I did all that shit carrying luggage back and forth, this, that, because of our favorite fighters to show support. And I'm thinking about going to this New York one. We might have to do the Great Escape, bro. We might have to go front line. Just put on some big glasses, my nigga, and you know what I'm saying. We get down there and we be here with the hoodies or something. I think we might have to
Too
do
damn
this
hot.
one. We might have to do this one because it's during like a lot of festivities the week because Amanda Serrano's in town,
The day before
right?
or the
There's
night
a lot
before, I should
going
say.
on, bro. Come
Yeah.
on. You know, it's gonna be a
Mexican boxer says Georgia stopping Xander pillow fist.
okay.
Uh,
He got pillow fist when he put those pillows to his face and that do go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? That
Bro,
he
it's like I told him in the chat. I said, "Yo, every Mexican boxer that Xander has faced thus far has dropped him. I didn't say he beat him by knockout, but he's dropped every single Mexican."
yeah. Well, this Perez Mexican boxer ain't every other Mexican boxer. This guy's coming off one of the biggest wins, beating Kyle there, and he in the way he did it. No one had him picked in that fight. He was an underdog in that fight.
Here's the
He,
difference, though.
so he
Conwell on that fight
Conwell.
was gun shy. He was gun shy. He didn't throw as
Nah,
many.
I don't think he was gun shy more than what he did was Conwell was waiting for him to stop moving, to settle, to burst in the attack. The
Right.
Perez kid didn't stop moving.
At all.
And he kept resetting. Conwell just kept resetting, getting tagged, getting tagged, getting tagged. And he kind of like was waiting for him to just stop moving. And then but Perez never stopped moving. And
Yeah.
he fucking lost. He got he gave him a decent ass whooping. Because I had Conwell in that fight. I definitely did. I thought that Conwell would match up. But you know what? To tell you the truth, man, frontline, I like Xander Zion fighting Perez than rather than fighting Conwell. Tell you the truth. Even though Perez
Mm,
beat him, I think it would be a worser matchup for Xander Zion's style. It
right.
can go two ways. It can go two ways. I can see a version where Xander Zion could clip him in the exchanges. It could go bad for Conwell, but I could also see it going bad for Xander Zion versus Conwell. I
Right.
like him better for multiple reasons. Height wise, the lengthy with Perez.
Yeah,
So that way,
it gets him ready for a possible Fundura fight.
there you go. There you go. Now, what Fundora did, I don't like. What Fundora did, I don't like because even though I understand what people are saying, and I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and they said, well, Sebastian Fundora was offered a more lucrative fight to rematch Tim Tszyu, double the pay, than rather honoring and fighting Xander Zion, where you're not going to make that much money because Xander Zion's name, according to what they're telling, whether this be true or not, that's what they're telling Sebastian Fedora. So he
Well, fun.
says, so
Right.
Fedora says, I'm going to vacate the belt. I'm going to let the WBO go. I'm going to fight Tim Tszyu for XY amount of dollars, whatever it is, right? Supposed to be a lot more. It was worth vacating a belt. And I say, no, it wasn't.
I don't know.
No, it wasn't. Because I was like, yo, Fundora, you could have still did both things and had both belts. Let's just say the WBO mandated you to fight Xander Zion. So if Xander Zion's so easy to beat or whatever, just beat him, spin the block, fight Tim Tszyu. You still have both belts. That's for a bigger event. You'll get more money because you're bringing two belts to the table with Tim Tszyu. You probably would have got a little up in pay, and you still would have had the Tim Tszyu fight. but you would have had two belts. The way you did it, you sacrificed the belt just to fight him.
Yeah, because I think he's looking at it like he'll fight for the belt against the winner of Perez and Zayas and probably get more money because now it's a unification title.
Yeah, but what
I'm
you
saying
did,
that's how he's probably looking at it.
right, right. And whoever thought that over, you need to fire him because now you just gave Xander Zion negotiating a chip.
Right.
You gave him a belt to be able to talk back to you. Had you went and fought him first at the negotiation table, you hold all the pieces. You're the only champion in the room. I got both belts. You don't got shit. Now, the way he's doing it is the way you're saying it, correct way. Let's say in the Bod's Gods boxing world, he beats Tim Tszyu again. Now, let's say that Xander Zion wipes down Perez, which that's what's going to happen,
Well, let's
right?
play devil's advocate here. What if Tim Tszyu beats him? Now he ain't got shit.
Yeah, and he fucked up the pot because if
Right.
Tim Tszyu wants to come back, he's still got to go after these belts that this guy vacated.
Yep.
And what I'm saying, he could have did all of this for the same amount of money. He might have got a little bit more money and kept the belts. You know
Yeah.
what I
Well,
mean?
let's catch up with this chat.
Yeah.
Baby Panda, true that the monster bring the best out of boxing. Naldo, Usyk, 38 years old, 23 0-0 with 14 knockouts. Saul Canelo Alvarez, 34 years old, 63 2-2 with 39 knockouts. Fighting pro since 2005. No current boxer has a record like Canelo. Tro says Nelo easily has the best resume of current fighters.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
let's
Yes.
see.
Hands down. There's not a lot of fighters that don't got that kind of resume than Canelo. Canelo is the last of the dying breed. He's the last of the Mohegans. What you're seeing in Saul Canelo Alvarez, we won't see guys with 63 professional fights no more. Naoya Inoue is the new wave, and he's only got what 30 fights.
Yeah. Sonny
It,
asked you a question. He wants to know Usyk or Mike Tyson. Prime versus prime.
Mike Tyson, hands down. That's not even a question. He'll break Usyk's jaw.
Mexican boxing says we because I said something to him. He said we always hear you guys always disappear when you lose. You don't rep your flag, Puerto Rico, like us.
Yeah, he's talking shit.
He always talking shit.
Yeah,
Um,
we
Naldo
out
says
here with.
Canelo.
Yep.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, we were out here with a loss with Edgar Berlanga fucking partying for weeks. What is this guy talking about?
I told him it didn't go too good. Taínos versus Azteca did it.
No.
Um, Naldo says Canelo has nothing more to prove. He's the GOAT. And if he retires, he's still young and can enjoy the rest of his life. Money will not be an issue.
That is correct.
Let me see. Canelo. Tony says Canelo's not an impressive fighter to him. Sure, he does enough to win, but that's about it. Let me see.
Yeah, well, you gotta remember what made these guys who they were. Throughout their years in the 63 professional fights that Canelo has, he's truly a unicorn. You know, and he had to evolve. But I gotta admit, I remember when Canelo was on that shit and he was knocking everybody out. You know, you got to remember who was, and stuff,
Hey,
and still is.
Team Reynoso got red flag right now.
Oh my
All his
god!
fighters,
Oh my god!
all his fighters
Oh
got
my
caught
god! Jaime
cheating.
Munguia, you dumb mother, bro!
Yo, every
That is a
fighter
bad look. Yo,
on his stable.
the minute you go back to, no wonder he looked so ripped in his last fight.
Yo, you know who I'm afraid of?
Oh,
The Puerto Rican one that's under his George La Roca Lopez.
La
I'm
Joca.
afraid because you know we don't cheat, bro. There's not a boxer in history from Puerto Rico that's ever got tested for cheating or cheated by getting tested. You know what I mean?
Oh, oh, okay. Because well. I don't want to bring this moment up and
No, if there
Puerto
is somebody,
Rican.
let me know.
No, no, no. He didn't test positive, but he did some snaky, dirty rat shit
Who's
that
that?
uh I vow never to say his name ever again in Puerto Rican boxing. That's how despicable what he did was.
Okay.
So he ruined a kid's life, an Irish kid's life, a young undefeated Irishman, the Puerto Rican fighter. They put stuff in his gloves,
Mm.
and he went out there and the kid was basically brain dead. You do that to my son, there's none. I'm not gonna even answer that. Okay. And it was a Puerto Rican fighter that it did.
Was it
Uh,
something like what Margarito did with Cotto?
yeah, but worse,
Oh,
worse,
that's
way worse. The
that's no
referee,
bueno.
the referee was in on it. What happened was there was a gambling bet in the town. The Puerto Rican fighter was like on a fucking. His record was like 39 fights and 31 losses. He had no punching power. He was just a punching bag, this Puerto Rican dude. The mafia dudes caught up to him, and the town was like betting all these odds on this white Irish kid. There was a lot of money on the Irish kid. They got the Puerto Rican dude, and they was like, listen, this is what we gonna do. You gonna win this fight. The referee was in on it. This Puerto Rican dude was just bashing this Irish kid on the road, and the referee was like literally doing his laundry list. Like, I gotta do whites, colors today, socks, underwear, and this dude was just getting brutalized round after round. And the kid was like getting dragged to his corner. There was just blood everywhere, and the fans were in shock because all the money was on the kid. So the people didn't want to stop the fight. That kid almost died, bro.
That's crazy.
And they just took the money and ran with it, right? So like that dude got and his coach the rest of their career, they were like banned from boxing, and there was like mad stories. They were always telling, "Why'd you do that?" type
What year was
shit.
this? You remember the year?
Nah, nah. It was a disgusting story of black eye in Puerto Rican boxing that I never wanted to bring it up. Like it's something that you like. Oh shit! Don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like there was a period in time, right, where I would watch the news and you see these horrible crimes, and it was always white dudes, white dude, a white dude, a white dude, a white dude, and I'd be like, please don't let it be a Spanish dude, right, 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 and it was kind of one of those kind of moments, you know what
That's
I'm
crazy.
saying?
I never even heard that. I gotta look
Yeah,
that one up.
yo, that shit is swept under, but I try to like look up a lot of boxing. There's just so much, bro, and I lack in one area, but I'm good in one, and this and that, and
But
Puerto
from what
Rican,
the research you've done, that's the only Puerto Rican cheater that you've ever came across.
no,
Oh, there's more.
yeah, there was
But
more.
wait, there's
There's
more.
more. Yeah. There was there was different cheating types of method. They were cheating done by age, lying on their age to get them to fight young. They were young
Yeah, but you know what
and
though?
that
That's
kind of
every
cheating.
culture. Look at this
Right.
guy, Sugar Robinson. I think his name, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah, he used a phony ID. That wasn't even his name. Come to
Correct.
find out.
Right.
So like yeah, there was different types of cheating, but as far as a fighter testing positive, like let's say Dominican fighters, Alberto Puello testing
Yeah.
positive. You know what I'm saying? He got a 6-month ban. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? But no, no.
Not
Um
for roids.
for steroids, I
Yeah.
gotta look that up. I gotta look it up.
I haven't heard of any. I mean, I'll apologize publicly if I'm wrong, but I don't think
Yeah, I
in the
gotta look
history
it
of
up.
Puerto Rican boxing for cheating. Um, Let me see what else. You want me to keep going on the chat?
Yeah, go ahead.
How Tony says, "How can anyone hate Inoue? Dude's the people's champ. He doesn't sit back and look pretty and pick his opponents. The boy is like a damn movie, seeking and destroying all top contenders. Inoue doesn't play around. And Inoue doesn't play around. He's here to prove to the world no cherry picking or nothing." Um, Let me keep going here. The hand rush show was hilarious. legacy. What do you think of Tank fans calling Inoue chinny after he got dropped multiple times in his career?
That's not called chinny. That's called getting caught with a good punch. That's what that's called. That's not chinny.
He also
A-
says, oh, go
Any
ahead.
man in the world got caught with either of those shots. Tell me a man that would have just been like and ate that and said, "Give me another one." At that weight, that's any man would have went down. It's not like he was like walking into a jab and he went jab and he went down. Now that's chinny.
He also said Tank, Nello, Bud, Bivol, Beterbiev, them for pound fighters never got dropped like Inoue. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Who okay. Bud got dropped, but it wasn't counted. We all know it against the Russian. Canelo Alvarez got stunned up against that rope. He was getting his ass whooped for a little bit, and then the bell saved him.
Against
Uh
Triple G, right?
yeah, there's been every fighter. You're for God's sake, you're in a fight. If we're picking that a guy got knocked down, now we're picking apples and oranges.
Tank took a
It,
knee, didn't he?
oh no, no, no. He went and got his hair done 2 days ago. But listen, the thing is this. The thing is this, guy. Which one of these fighters is going in forward, giving the opposition a better crack at you as well? Where that these guys hooked off on Naoya anyway, but let's be honest, they didn't really have to go far to get them punches off. Naoya anyway was getting close to them. It's not like they earned it in setting up a punch and they outsmarted Naoya Inoue and caught him. That's a different scenario. Naoya Inoue got greedy in the Roman Cardin fight and he stepped in. Quickly recognized his mistake and did, by the way, did Roman Cardin land that left hook anymore in that fight? No. You got to look at what happened and what occurred. He took chances, paid for it, but not the ultimate price. How many times have we seen fighters get cracked with big shots like that and get Bambi legs?
Yeah.
They can't even come out the corner in the next round. His recuperation power from coming back from shots like that, you can't call a man like that chinny. You got to acknowledge what just happened. He just got caught big. That's it.
They used to say the same shit about Trinidad.
Yeah, like he
He's
always chinny.
chinny.
No, Trinidad used to get caught with shots he didn't see. He didn't see the punch, he was like, yeah, I'm like with it, and those ones shock you. They're like what we call flash knockdowns,
Yeah.
bro.
Mark,
That's not doesn't mean you're chinny.
Mark said years ago, Stephen A. Smith read the pound for pound list, but missed Inoue's name on purpose. Mike Tyson checked him later by naming him as the most underrated fighter. LOL.
Fucking right, Mike Tyson. Let's go because a beast recognizes a beast. It takes a killer to recognize a killer. You know what I'm saying? Mike
Tro
Tyson
said,
was. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead. I'm grabbing my water.
Tro says, laugh my ass off. Tank can't even unify. Abdul Walid wasn't explosive as I thought. No justice, no grease. Uh,
Abdullah Wali, other well known as Tank Davis, right? Uh, look, say what you want. We're gonna get the rematch. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna leave it like that. All right,
Tro
go
says
ahead.
Tank doesn't have the legacy for Inoue.
No,
He's talking to um, Julio says good work on the TBV earlier.
thank you.
Naldo says Tank is too much for Inoue. I think so. Sonny says Tank versus Inoue is stupid, like asking Tank to fight Crawford. Tro says I think the power and size will allow Tank too. Inoue will have to rely on his movement for sure. Um, Naldo says Edwin read the chat.
Huh? Huh?
Naldo says Edwin read the chat. Read the
Oh,
chat. Carlos says what's up. Julio says when main event set camp in the 90s, they still had Pernell Whitaker, but I never met him. But he
Mm.
had Lou Duva sign Kasim Ouma and Dangerous Dave Lutter, both middleweight. Ouma was junior middle.
Mm.
Sonny says, doesn't matter who Inoue beat from here on, they still won't give Inoue props.
Juan says the best fighters out there is Boots, Russell, Naoya Inoue, Benavidez
Is the number one
is number
fan.
one. Carlos says salute.
No, he says
Um,
Subriel COB.
oh,
Cop.
that's what that say?
Yeah.
God damn it.
I got
All
I
right,
got it. I got it.
all
I
right, all
got
right.
it. You don't have your glasses on. Arnaldo, Mark's talking to Arnaldo. Only if he can go up to 30 and beat Sugar Nunez. The tank fight doesn't make sense right now. Carlos says Subriel's conditioning has to be top notch to get that belt, man. Badger one says Zaya's my boy. Naldo says Zayas has to stay away from Bakram Bertazalev, whatever his name is. Zayas versus Tim Zoo will be an interesting fight. Julio says Subriel has a real tough fight. I'm Boricua, but I think Puello beats him. I
Mm.
followed Puello from his beginning. He's very athletic and has a good IQ. June
We'll
is
see. We will see.
Junjian is not guilty. It's from birth control pills. I guess he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Alberto Puello and his wife
Yeah,
having a baby and fertility drugs. Well, that's what he says. I heard a woman. What girl was that that said, "Oh, the reason why I tested positive because my boyfriend does steroids and when he fucked me, he."
that was Alicia Bumgarner.
Yeah, come on, man, stop it. Just stop it, man. All right, now it's fertility drugs. Now we're banging our girlfriend. All right, whatever.
Julio, I guess he corrected me. I said I must have read something wrong. He said frontline it was Louis Resto against Billy Collins in the 80s.
And Amando means murder check there that knocked out Tim Zoo.
Oh, okay. There's a Julio says there's a documentary about Louis Resto going to Florida to confront Panama Lewis. Restored says Resto says he didn't know nothing about it. The fight was Louis Resto versus Billy Collins. Everything boxing says stop the cap. And Julio said I'm at Mungia.
Okay.
That's it. We all caught
Yep.
up.
We all caught up. Yo, so listen, what do you think about this Mongia
Oh,
situation? Real talk.
but before you get there,
Yeah.
everything boxing. What's the cap? What stop? What cap? What was said that was cap? Mongia, bro. I mean, I don't know. I I don't know what to say because this is coming what weeks after his fight. You know what I'm saying? Um, we should have known because everybody in Reynoso's camp has tested positive.
Nah, 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 nah. Okay, look. Bad look aside, right? This is not a good look for Eddie Reynosa's camp, right? Uh Ryan Garcia tested positive, Saul, the list goes on. It's not
Oscar
a good
Valdez.
yeah, yeah, it's not a good look. Okay? Now, I can't control what another man does, even though if I'm training him and he tests positive, you got to understand though, my name and my gym's name is on the line when I'm working with you as an athlete. Whatever you do reflects me, and what I do reflects you. Just ask Naoya in a way when Emmanuel Rodriguez's coach tried to push his dad. Did that not affect Emmanuel Rodriguez? Sure did, right? Okay.
He took the beating.
Oh, he took that beating for that man. Okay. So uh you gotta represent your team. This is a bad look. It takes away the win, I believe, against Bruno there, doesn't it? Because he tastes positive. Did that become a no contest now?
Did he test positive before the fight or
No, that
after
was
the fight?
for that fight. That's the test results, I think, for that fight.
So then,
I'm on. Wait, don't hold me to that. I was talking about it today. Maybe perhaps that was a question I should have asked.
well, it
What?
all depends on how Bruno wants to handle it.
Yeah, because it's gonna go to a no contest, bro. And now
Does it
Mungia's got to.
automatically go to a no contest, or it depends on the dispute?
Oh, how long if he chooses to fight. If Mungia says right away, I'm guilty, maybe they'll give him an Alberto Puello 6 months. which in all hindsight, in Alberto Pueyos's defense, right? The fact that they gave him 6 months can mean one or two things. One, he didn't choose to fight it. He admitted his guilt. They handed him down the suspension. Or two, what he was saying, they saw truth in it with the trying to have a baby thing. And they might have said, well, yeah, yeah, but they're still building your system and this makes this. And whether it was unbeknownst to you, you are dirty. So, okay, we're going to say that what you're in your system, you didn't have it for a long time. We can see when it goes into your body. Because what these athletes don't understand, me being one time on the other side about steroid testing and all that other shit, right? And just testing in general, that I know that when they test your blood, you can't lie no more. Blood testing devices today can tell you to the second when you ingested anything into your body, meaning the second you took that needle and put it into your leg, if it was 12:40 a.m. on a Wednesday, July 6th, and you did that, they took your blood a year later, they can tell you to the date and time when you put it in your body. But their job is not to inform you of that. They just allow you to talk. They know all the truth already. When a lady does crack or a guy does drugs or you do anything in your body on the federal level, that's how the testing is done. You're not going to get away with it. I mean, to the second. So when these guys test for all these drugs, if you want them to go further, if you say, like, let's say, nah, I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. Well, then now he got to go to the second lab. That costs money. A steroid tester on average is about $1,300.
But here's what I don't get about the A and B sample.
All
It's
right.
stupid in my opinion. But
Nah.
no, but hear me out. Hear me out first, and then
Yep.
you can.
Yep.
So the A sample and the B sample are from the same urine test. You piss in two
Yes and no.
cups.
Yes
You
and
piss in
no.
you piss in two cups.
Yeah.
They put an A sample, which is doing the initially test.
Yeah.
If that comes back positive, they test the B sample to confirm.
No. No.
It's not like you're pissing one day and then pissing again to confirm.
You don't have to at that point. But what you're missing a step in between their front line.
What's the
Okay.
set?
The A sample is only tested on the surface, meaning that surface talk in for steroid testers, like when we're like in the job testing, right? That's just scratching the surface, meaning I take that and I test it to the top 55 drugs on the market. It's kind of like taking a guy coming down to a parole office and he pees in a cup, right? Okay, that same cup, he takes it, puts it there, and he just puts the dipping sticks inside the urine, right? When he tests this for the 5, 6 major drugs of the world, if you come back positive, he's going to say you came back positive. You're going to say you're lying, right? This is called scratching the surface. With that same urine in that same cup, I don't need you to do nothing. Now, this is the B sample. When I take this sample and I send it to the lab, it goes through the big machines
Right.
and it breaks down everything. And I mean everything. That's when they tell you, okay, Mr. Liar, you wanted to say that our first sample was uh, uh, a faulty reading? Well, this is what actually happened. On Tuesday morning, you woke up and you sniffed this, put this, shot that, smoked this, ingested this. That's what the B one's for. So if you want
Okay,
to
so it's the
compare,
same. So it's the same cup.
right, but a
It's
higher
just
test.
I got
It's
you.
a
I
more
got you.
thorough test on the second one.
That makes sense.
You see,
I got
the A one is the surface one, the one that let me see what I catch. We caught something. By time I test this sample, let's say, for instance, you can do heroin on Wednesday. They test you next Wednesday. Unbeknownst to the addict, right? He thinks he's clean because a full 7 days have passed. 3 days to get out of your body is what the rumor says with cocaine and major drugs, right? Okay. Now what happens in testing facilities, they're no longer testing for the heroin. What they're testing for is what it broke down in your body as. It'll break down like morphine. It'll break down into other drugs. So they don't actually catch you for the heroin, but on the chart, they can read it. It's like reading a book for them.
Yeah, and it tells them what drug
Hey,
was
what
used.
steps, and they know exactly what it was. Now,
Yeah.
on the first test, scratching the surface, they've already identified what you took. Now, they can't tell you the where, the when, and the how yet. But you want to keep yelling, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. And they says, yeah, you're innocent? Well, now we're going to do the B sample. And that's when you're not going to be able to run from it. Most
I
people
don't
want
get
to
it. Why these boxers keep fucking with Scooter? They should just go to Snack. They won't get caught.
listen. Now, I can't definitively say this, and I'm gonna say this hypothetically. Hypothetically, Ryan Garcia, I'm starting to see he was cycling off. What the ostring and the level and the 60 milligram shows you that it was a small amount. Doesn't mean he was going up. He was coming off of it. And the rumors about him testing just 3 or 4 days earlier to that, because they're like, look, we got the test results here. Unbeknownst to the surface, if you're looking at his mom tell the story of him, you take the days they gave you and you go with it. But if you pay close attention to the video, the letter that they released was released 4 days, 5 days leading into the match. But if you look at the very corner, the testing date was 2 weeks prior to that. That means they tested him not 4 days out. That's
That's
when
when
you
they got
got
the
the
results.
letter. Yeah.
Uh,
So they try to fool us with that. And if Ryan did that in the beginning and you were trying to distract us from the actual date, if you had nothing to hide, you'd have said, I got tested 2 weeks ago. But you guys were making it seem like I was just tested 4 days out. Here's the letter. No, that's when it came public. Your test, you actually had an extensive window. You just got bagged. So when I started doing my due diligence and I was watching back footage, that's when I came across that. And I don't feel like I felt like, all right, I figured this out. But why? What am I gonna do? Stand up here with this mic and yell it out? Like, who the fuck cares anymore? Man, he already got lost to freaking Rolly. That the second fight is not looking that intriguing. Now, there are hardcore Devin Haney fans that want results, right? Okay, I get it. You guys want to see if he can beat him like that. And unfortunately, I got this is a message to all Devin Haney fans. Please don't read into that Ryan Garcia Rolly fight. If you're telling yourself and you're trying to convince yourself that, look, that's proof. Look at Ryan Garcia's physique and his performance. He had to be on drugs. And I believe a good amount of people believe that. And I think you guys are going to be blindsided. Stay
mhm.
with me on this one. Stay with me on this one. What you guys are not taking in consideration is actually what occurred. Didn't Ryan Garcia come off a 1 year suspension? He was going to have ring rust. And if you're coming off 1 year suspension, you are no longer in shape. Only God and Ryan knows what he did that entire year. How much shape was really Ryan in? Rumors throughout camp say that Derek James himself didn't want to admit it, but Ryan Garcia was only coming in 3 days out of the week. So he wasn't in the best shape and he was coming off ring rust. Those two elements could give you the false impression that he had to be on drugs.
Rachel
And
Donair says, "Hey,
yeah,
she's in the chat. She said, "Hey,
yep. Oh, say hi, Rachel. How you doing? So I just don't want people to be blind. We're soon gonna find out what the truth was with one more fight because now Ryan will have a full camp to rebound Devin Haney, and in that fight, because I'm giving Devin Haney the same thing with Ryan. Okay, Devin Haney was running a little bit too much, but when he did engage, he was connecting. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we all understand what happened with Devin Haney. You know, you can't take away what happened on that night. He received those punches. So was he going to be cautious or a little gun shy? So I expected this. So I'm going to give him that one fight. But you can't do it again, my son. You can't do it again. And your next fight is to confront the bully that did this to you, the cheat, the guy that had to get one over on you. That fateful night that you went down for the first time in your career, while you looked into the crowd and looked into the eyes of your girlfriend, your wife, your father, and your little brothers.
well, and you know I'm not a Haney fan, but on to his defense, we can argue that he was also having ring rust because he took the bid with Ryan.
There
So
you go.
we can argue that he also had ring rust, and that's why, hence
That's
his
why I'm
performance.
also giving him this one fight.
But I don't know. I think he did a little too much running. He didn't let his hands go like he
I
usually
won't
does.
argue any of that. The
Um,
performance itself, I'm chalking it to, right? I don't even want to argue the performance or what happened. We all got eyes. We know what happened, right? But if I'm in an agreement that I'm saying this, Devin, I give you this fight. I know that's tough to come out of. You could be damaged goods. You know, there could be a lot of things going underneath the hood of that car. Okay. And only time will tell. So if I thought this was a possibility, what I'm saying is rather than argue or keep going back and forth for what occurred on that night, I'm already saying I'll give you that one fight. So I'm look, whatever happened, I don't I'm gonna give you that. And Ryan Garcia, even in when you lost, I'm still giving you that one fight. Now you guys are active fighters. Those were your fights coming back off a year layoff of a year of inactivity, and this is what you guys look like. On your next fight, what's going to be your excuse? You guys better show up and show out because that's going to determine where your career goes. So you better you both of you, rightfully so, decide what you want to do with your life. Is this what you want to be? You want to be a professional fighter? Well, then you better punch in because it's time
I
to go
say
to work.
both. I say both of them have one more fight before the rematch.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. You know, and then Teal's getting fired by the Saudi prince. And
Teal's gonna Teal. Nobody wants Teal,
listen,
bro.
I
The
don't know what to
dude.
tell you.
You know what he need? He need a good old school ass whooping, and not in the ring, outside the ring.
Manny Pacquiao,
His mouth is just too loose.
Manny Pacquiao is going to be making a ring return, right? We all know against Mario Barrio.
Miss
And I
Rachel doesn't agree with something. I don't know what she don't
with
agree
what
with.
with what? No,
Ask.
no, 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 no. I don't agree. I don't agree. What did I say, Rachel? What did I say?
Keenan
Oh,
says I wouldn't consider Ryan's shape to be the factor in his loss, considering in the lead up to the Haney he was drinking,
I don't think Rachel Donair
smoking,
gives
etc.
Ryan or Devin a pass. Is that what she's saying?
I don't know. She said I don't agree, and she just said respectfully. I don't know what she doesn't agree with.
Okay, okay, Rachel, we're gonna have to throw down the chat, right? I mean
Oh,
The
the
little
layoff. She don't agree with the layoff.
the layoff. Oh, so she don't agree with the time out? Like she don't think it was ring rust? Yo, maybe Ryan Garcia might have not been trading the best, Rachel.
She said Nonito lost to Inoue first time.
Oh, but you're comparing your son to Rachel to Ryan's train.
Her
You're
son,
fucking
her husband.
or I mean, yes, yes. You're comparing your husband to Ryan Garcia. Your husband is a fucking Hall of Famer,
Exactly.
a world champion, and Ryan Garcia has never even competed for a world title. Like won one. Like
So what she saying was Nonito lost to Inoue first time and then came back and beat Ubali.
yeah, that was the French champion. Then he defended the title. Then he lost to Naoya in the rematch. Yeah, but his her husband is a warrior, man,
It's a
leaps and
legend.
bound legend compared to fucking Ryan Garcia's dedication to the craft. I
And
don't
Bevan.
Yeah, I don't think that this kid was actually training until he was like at the last month or two coming in off his suspension when he was trying that Japanese kid fight out there and trying to get Oscar De La Hoya to sign off on it. So I think at that time is when Ryan started training again. Had your husband, Nonito Donair, gotten a year suspension for anything, I bet the entire year he was suspended, he'd be training. That's the difference between Ryan Garcia and your husband, Rachel. I've been on interviews with Rachel, and Rachel's like, "Yeah." I say, Rachel, where's Donair in the gym? What
Even
you guys?
to this day, he's still in
Yeah,
the
yo,
gym.
listen. She was on vacation, and she was in Puerto Rico. I was talking to her, um,
She was
during
in
which
Puerto Rico. He was here in Florida.
right? Is she? Where's Donair in the gym working
Yeah.
out with my two boys, my sons? Like, come on, man. There she is. She's just hopped on.
Hi.
Hello, Rachel Donair. How you
Hi.
doing?
Oh, tired.
Tired?
Everyone's in Vegas. Everyone's in
Yeah.
Vegas. Jesus Christ. Yep.
Wow.
For the two fights. So, yep.
So talk to me about what was it that you didn't agree on like with Ryan?
I just don't think that a year layoff is an excuse. I think a year
Right.
layoff is when you reflect and you think about what you've done wrong, and you have a whole year. And listen, this
Mhm.
is not a forcible layoff, okay?
Right.
This is, like, I honestly don't like the verbiage of it being a layoff. It's a completely, it's a suspension. And I think that when we degrade the fact of what it is, it makes it really lax. We're like, he
Right.
just decided to take a year off. No, it was a suspension. You couldn't come back. But he could have used that time to better himself. And from the most part, what he said mentally, he did. I don't know if it's true or not. No idea. But you could have been in the gym 20, like, the suspension doesn't take you away from the gym. It doesn't take you away from sparring. It takes you away from active professional competition. So if you look at when Nonito fought Naoya the first time, WBSS 2019 November.
Mhm.
Of course, COVID happened, and then Nonito during COVID had gotten COVID, and he was supposed to fight um, Emmanuel Rodriguez. That fell through, and he didn't fight Ubali until 2021. If that was the case, then Nonito wouldn't have beat Ubali if we were to make excuses.
Right. Well, I believe that being the type of person you are, your mindset, right? You're a very strong mindset individual from the moment I've met you. I don't think Ryan Garcia's on your timeline as far as you getting a year and then what you would have done productively for yourself or your husband would have done. Ryan Garcia was a kid looking like he was spiraling out of control, even leading up into the Devin Haney fight. Beers or images of him smoking marijuana was a constant image. And then he made videos like smoking Devin packs and showing at parties that he was blowing smoke everywhere. he was also a kid that was fronting like they had a lot of money and then came across a lot of money. Adjusting to
Mm,
live with money like that, being young, telling your dad to shut up, you know,
mm,
it can get to your head. I don't believe in my hearts of hearts he was in the right space during that whole time. I'm in agreement with you. He could have did so much more with it, but I don't see him like that. If it was what I'm saying is, if it was up to like your husband and him, who would I thought would have utilized the time better and wiser? Hands down, your husband. So I can't compare that and say, yeah, I don't want to give him the credit because a year wasn't enough to get like that much ring rust. Oh no, for some people, Rachel, yes, that would have did it. And you know what hurt the most to watch? This is about the whole situation. That Devin Haney did the bid with him. Devin Haney, Ryan gets locked up, and it was
yeah,
like Devin was his girl writing them letters and shit.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he allowed him to dictate his career.
yeah.
That I didn't like. See,
No,
Devin, he could have
yeah,
been
I
more
agree.
active. He could
No,
have been
yeah,
more active. His performance now and what he's portraying himself to be the next Floyd. What was Floyd's thing? The epitome of hard work and dedication. Amongst all the shit talking and the gold chains, if you were a real hardcore, you knew Floyd was a gym rat. That was no secret, and that's
yep.
that's that's what that Devin's selling to the people. But you're going in and doing this now, Rachel. I have nothing for that. That's why it's kind of like when you can't explain something in the world, what is the quickest way to bypass? Oh, it's aliens. Right?
Yeah, no,
Just to get
and, like,
over it,
that's the
right?
thing, though, like, here's
Right?
like you were saying, like, the thing is we knew, but we didn't know as far as Mayweather goes. Like, we
Right.
saw him party, we saw him throw money at strippers, we saw him
Right.
travel the world, but the people that were, I mean, at least around Vegas, like, we knew that he wasn't drinking, like, he
Right.
was, he'll run from the club, which is crazy, at 2 in the
Right.
morning.
It's all a
Um,
facade.
yeah, but and unfortunately, um, what people think is on social media, they think is true. So, because of that, there has been countless fighters that have lived their life. I'm going to tell you the exact same way when I met Nonito, after, and he was at 112 at that time, he would blow up. And I'm like, okay. And then during camp, he would hurt.
Right.
And I'm like, "So why do we do this again?" And he's like, "Well, 'cause, we put our lives in the ring, for 2 months, 2 months for each fight. So 4 months out of the year,
Right.
if you're lucky." And I said, "Okay, so what are you again?" He's like, "A professional boxer." I'm like, "So if you're a professional, like, in any, uh, you know, context of the word, in any
Right.
job position. You're professional, you're saying 365 days of the year, but this is what you do. This is what your life depends on. But you take, 10 months out of the year off, right? Then are you really a professional boxer? What is the mindset of you being an actual professional athlete if you're not being professional to be that, to earn that salary, to earn your purse? Like, I don't know where it was where people like, "Oh, listen, I'm gonna take the gas pedal off." Like, listen, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go on vacation. I'm not saying that at all. But after you've enjoyed life for a month or 2, considering how many months of the year are, you should be in the gym again. You should be making sure what you eat, the consistency in keeping your weight at a healthy weight, and staying in the gym. So when you come back at an 8 or 12-week camp, it's not fat camp. You're not spraining something because now you have 40 pounds of weight on you that you're trying to cut, and you're trying to do a game plan, and you're trying to make your body perform at an optimal level. Again, we're talking about professionals. So can you say you're a fucking professional if you're
Well,
only training 8 weeks?
yeah. That's a very interesting point, and the level that these men and women should hold themselves. And what you're describing is what I would consider a hard working individual being a professional. What tends to happen in most of these situations is what I call God gifted talent people. People that are God gifted and have God given ability and it comes to them easy sometimes are really good in the sport but slack off a lot. And I can see where that some of the most God gifted talented athletes, it becomes like a curse. And you wish they would take what they were given and apply hard work and dedication to it. As you can see, some of the top fighters in the world, when they do that, how far they're able to go. But when you see um, talent, and you know that Ryan Garcia is talent, but what also do you see? A waste of that talent. You know, in the back of
Mhm.
your mind,
Mhm.
he could be better, you
Yep.
know, and they
BJ
could.
Penn.
Right, right, absolutely. Oh, he could have beat George St. Pierre at his
Yep.
best, but
Mhm.
BJ Penn wanted to mess around and go out and everything. But when you saw BJ Penn come out and perform at the top, what did he look like? Man, he moved effortlessly around these guys, you know, and
Mhm.
and 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 so when you see talent go to waste, you don't understand that as a hard worker. See, you have the mindset that everything or your husband had to get, every skill was hard work, repetition. Okay. Wasn't nothing handed to you. And in order to get to this level, you would have to raise the bar on yourself. Just like the Kobe Bryants of the world. He didn't wasn't born Michael Jordan. He turned himself into it. That's what
Yeah,
hard
it's
work is.
yeah, and I think that, like, listen, I think that, we've talked about before about the
Mhm.
social media age. Like, people
Right.
automatically assume that everything's easy,
Mhm.
and they don't. I've gotten heat a bunch of times for the way that I raise the boys,
Right.
And listen, we're on summer. My boys got, their break today. They got to go to, a water park and all that stuff with their friends and stuff like that. But it's summer. Do you not think that my boys are still sitting with their tutors twice a week, math and English, and well, one each day, not both, but and then also trying to learn the next level, their next grades before they step into the classroom in August. 100% they are. And
Mhm.
you're in, like, people, I'm not saying you, but people are like, "Oh, they should have a break." I'm like, "They should still learn their skills. They should hone it." Because the reason why Jarrell had skipped a grade is because he was still wanting to know more knowledge. And at the point that he becomes complacent is where the rest of the world has been. The only reason why people fail, and I said this on my Twitter, I think it's still pinned. It's not the dreams that the lack of opportunity or lack of money that kills the dreams of people. It's a lack of determination, drive, and consistency, and self sabotage, which kills them before the dream ever started.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
that with these, for again, they 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 saw Floyd going to parties, hobsnobbing with a bunch of celebrities, and they're like, "Well, he's doing it. Well, why can't I?" It's like, well, Floyd's already done the all the work that he's done. In addition to, he's not. You've never seen Floyd fat. I don't know how many guys I
Mm.
keep seeing outside of camp and I'm like, "How much do you weigh?" And people lie to me all the time.
Yeah,
They're
they
like,
do, yeah.
"Oh," yeah, they're like, "Nah, I'm this." And I'm like, and I add about 15, I'm like, "You're here."
It's like
And
a
they're like, "How'd you
taboo in
know?"
boxing to talk about your weight. Yeah, for men, it's like a taboo, nobody wants to admit. But, interesting what you said though, about Floyd and everything. See that Floyd knew there was um there was a percentage of this career in boxing, entertainment. And although he put out this persona and a message there was some fighters that were affected by the Floyd Mayweather era. And
Mhm.
Floyd didn't have time to turn around and tell these guys, yo, I don't really live the persona Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner being, uh, talked up as the next Floyd, 4 division world champion. He had it all. But he lived the life Floyd was faking to live. You know, um, I remember there was an interview that it really, really hit me. It really, really hit me. And it was the interview with Zab Judah. Floyd was preparing for another fight. He called in Zab Judah to help him. This was after Floyd and Zab had already met in the ring and they fought a little couple fights. I think it was for like his last fight, actually, his last 2 fights, or somewhere around there. And Zab Judah said, they said, what do you take from Mayweather, Zab? He says, in more words than one, I'm gonna quickly speed it up. I see why he beat me. He said, he trains like you're gonna take it all away from him tomorrow.
Mm.
And this
Mhm.
was Floyd, already established multi-millionaire. He had already went from pretty boy to money Floyd. That's where he was in his career. He had already had it all. And
Yeah.
the way he talked about him was he trains like he was desperate, like, no, I got to do more, I got to do this, no, I and preparing, and you never had to call him to the gym type shit. He was rich, he'll miss a day or this and that and these things, but that kind of mindset, I truly believe, uh you have to, be on another level of thinking. Not everybody can do that. I wish I would brag and say I can do that, but I know I no. But I know what it's like to train, and I don't believe that some of these kids are following the game plan. Look how much Devin Haney blows up between fights. Look how Devin Ryan blows up between fights. Look at Tank Davis, how he blows up between fights. The only one nowadays I can truly say that I don't see them blowing up are fighters like Naoya in a way. I don't see Terrence Crawford, except now recently because he's putting on the weight. But
Yeah.
although he wasn't fighting only but once a year, when I would see him in functions, he looked the same weight. Terrence, I
Well,
didn't, you
and
know,
and and what you're saying, like, I had seen, um and again, like, I honestly take, social media as a grain of salt because
right,
sometimes fighters troll or managers troll just to get a good, like, they think that they're, "Oh, like, take a fight with me. I look like I'm overweight," or whatever.
right.
Um, Stephen Fulton had posted a photo of him being at 60.
What?
Do you Yeah, I swear a couple weeks ago, I saw Stephen Fulton stepping like, it was a picture of a scale and feet. I don't know if it's his feet, but it was on his Twitter, and
Right.
he was 61, and from what I understand, he's moving up.
He wants to fight O'Shaughnessy Foster. I'm not sure if they worked out any of the details or anything, and I was just wondering, about that. Do you know anything about
Like, if he
that?
wants to fight Oshaki?
No, no, not like I heard about the rumor of them wanting to fight, but I wanted to know if you knew anything about that actually being a reality.
Reality, no, I can't say that
Okay,
anything's,
okay,
like, concrete, but from
right,
what I understand, there's some movement in the WBC.
okay,
And, Ray Vargas was the recess,
right,
and I'm hearing that he's coming back, and when they said that he's coming back, I'm like, "Well, he's not gonna just fight some nobody." Like, I would think that he would, as recess, he would challenge, Stephen Fulton, but,
right.
I'm hearing that that's not gonna be the opponent. So, that being said, looking at 26 or 30, which is, of course, a 4-pound difference, standing at 60 and then having to drop down 30, if that photo is true, it's what we're talking about. Like, how the fuck do you
Are
walk
you a
out?
professional? How
Yeah,
how do you stay in your own weight division? How do you claim to be? You're not a professional if you're all you're doing is 3 months or giving us that kind of. the professional stands has a bar standard of an athlete, of a professional boxer. You're supposed to set a professional standard, like, and some of these guys are not, and I agree with you, Rachel. I agree with you. Um, and some guys are like messing around. But as far as 130-pound weight division, if anything, newly acquired IBF champion, Eduardo Nunez. I was wondering if you watched that fight, or what do you think about his performance out there in Japan, going out there Mexico, in Japan's backyard, and winning a fight? And yeah, he's the 130-pound champion. So what'd you think about
No,
that fight?
I mean, I think that, of course it's always impressive to go into someone else's territory. I think it's ballsy as shit.
Yeah.
And he proved, what he did in that ring, and it it speaks volumes because he put balls to, the contract.
Mhm.
I'd love to see what he's going to do in 130. Listen, 120 for me, 126 is pretty. I kind of heard that Nakatani wanted Espinoza. I was
Yes.
ringside Espinoza's last fight, and again, Nakatani's trying to skip 122 and go to 126. I'm not
Mhm.
saying he can't. He's a tall 118. He's 5'7",
Yeah.
right? But never testing 122 and going for Espinoza, seeing him ringside twice, and he's gotten better every single time I've seen him. I'm like, you're going to go for that, right? And 130's right there. I feel like a lot of times when we talk about the weight divisions, we
Yep.
forget that they can go down or they can go up for any
Right.
opportunity. So for him to go over there, to Japan and take the belt, there's so many opportunities which way. He could go back, he could go down to, 126, or I mean, the fight with Nakatani trying to get Espinoza's belt, and or setting up a title fight in Japan with Naoya when he moves up. There's so much fun little games with that it makes me smile, because I mean, I enjoy a great fight.
Right. Right. Don't we all? Now, okay. We all know what Naoya Inoue did at that award ceremony in Japan, where he took the opportunity to turn around and challenge Junto for a future fight in 2026. Uh, you talking about Junto Nakatomi's future plans to want to hurdle over the division and fight the one and only Espinoza. Now, um, Angelo Leo just successfully also defended
Mhm.
his belt too, as well, at the 126. Now things are moving along. Nick Ball was one of the names that Naoya Inoue was potentially going to fight to move up to 126. Now I was thinking, if Junto can go up there, or Leo can go up there and grab one of these belts, if any of them were to unify, it would put them definitely, in my book, at the head of the class for Naoya Inoue to fight, because I would imagine he would take the fight where he can get the most out of it. Because each of these guys are wanting to entice him to go up there.
No, but Leo was at 26.
Yeah, he's at 26.
Oh,
So
okay, I thought you said to go up. So
no,
it's
no, no, no.
okay.
I think Leo needs to unify with one of the champions, and I would have loved it to have been Stephen Kubo Fulton, because they once fought once upon a time, and
Yeah,
Stephen
yeah, yeah.
Kubo Fulton beat him. So I wanted to see that rematch, and the fact that it was for unification. Then, meanwhile, behind the
Mm.
scenes, Junto Nakatoni could have came up for Espinoza, and then I don't know if one of them unified, because I'm on the time frame. I'm just thinking MJ's definitely tied up with him. Naoya in a
No,
way,
yeah. Yep.
yes, tied up with him for September. That's He's
Mhm.
got to fight him.
Mhm.
Coming after that fight would have been the rumored fight, where that I know it's not sketched in stone, but he was supposed to fight Nick Ball at
Junto. Mm.
126. Right? Now, I don't know, the way Naoya Inoue starting to talk was getting me worried. The last thing I heard was him preparing for retirement at 35. In one of the interviews that he did out in Japan, he was talking
Mhm.
about, that. that he's getting to that point in his career. So whatever he chooses, he's going to do. But Rachel, what's this? Your husband on the rankings? He's
Leave me
going for it.
alone.
Oh my good, he's going
Leave,
for it again.
leave me alone. I'm not saying shit. I'm not saying shit. Let me do what I do. You always
Okay,
think that I can't do shit. Let me
okay.
do what I do.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, no, there's a lot of great boxing coming up. Definitely, Rachel. I'm just like you. I as for Puerto Ricans, myself, we got a big card coming up, a big week. We got Amanda Serrano, July 11th in New York City, and then we got the gentleman, July 12th. We have, of course, we have Edgar Berlanga, Shakur Stevenson, Supriya Matias, all representing the Puerto Rican flag for us, and then Amanda Serrano being one of the great female fighters. So it's a big week for us. So as far as my heritage and culture, we're gonna be out in New York City, really like supporting this fight, and this is a big fight too. What do you think about that? And Amanda's situation, if you have anything to say about that.
What situation?
Like like
Is there
like
a
like,
situation?
like, it's a girls'
Oh,
carnival,
I thought there was a
Netflix. No, no,
situationship
no,
that
no,
I didn't
no,
know
happy stuff, happy stuff, happy
about.
situations, you know,
Okay.
it's a big night for the ladies and
Oh,
Netflix,
100%. I think
you
that card
know
is amazing. And Amanda, like,
yeah,
I as much as Jake Paul gets a lot of heat,
yeah,
like the thing is that he has given such a platform, and has
yes,
signed so many strong women to get them into the next, the next platforms and get them visibility, honestly. And I don't think that anyone believed in women's boxing as much as Jake does. And the fact that she is bringing on her own, where she's highlighting amateur boxing in the in Puerto Rico for, all the amateur women there, and the
mhm,
WBO is supporting her. In addition to, God, how many new women boxers did they sign to
I
MVP?
know, right, yeah. This is
It's
Yeah, and for like the fans that are talking about women boxing and everything. If anybody you want to see a fight, go watch that Ryan and Mayer fight. Like they were in there. That was a great woman's fight right there, and it's coming along a long ways, Rachel. And I couldn't be
mhm.
prouder for the ladies. You know, many speculations about why hasn't Clarissa Shields been so hard headed. I don't even want to get into that really. The night has already been long enough. But it's just I just wanted to bring up, what the ladies are doing, and if anybody's not aware of it or not, it will be July 11th in New York City, and it will be broadcasted on Netflix. Please check out this fight. It's also a trilogy fight with Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano. So and then the next day, the gentlemen take the stage in New York City. Like I said, there's a lot for us riding. Rachel, uh, what are you looking for now in the future, and what are some of the biggest projects or the things you're looking to do?
You are still fishing. Look at you still fishing when I told you I ain't gonna say
Oh,
shit.
what? Well, listen, I'm doing my job over here. My job. Okay, I got 7 kids. Okay, what was that guy in the Terminator? How many kids did he always had? He had like 5 or 7.
Oh,
You ever see that Total Recall with
yeah,
Arnold
yeah, yeah.
Schwarzenegger? And the
Yeah.
mining guy, he always said I got like 7 kids or something. He was always lying though. But anyway, yeah. Is there
Listen,
anything
right now
else?
I'm actually trading, Trevor McCumbee took me on, as the strength and conditioning coach. So I'm training Trevor
Okay.
twice a week right now.
Oh.
And then there's a couple other fighters I'm supposed to take on. It's just dependent on my schedule and if they're uh if they can keep up with the program.
Mhm.
Um, so as far as boxing, of course, that's that. My other world champion, Jasmine Ortega, I believe she has a mandatory against Sandstrom, who's from
Okay.
Australia. It hasn't been ordered, but I think that she's going to be, the next one. I'm looking at it already. I want Jazz to come out here to Las Vegas because there's a lot of females that spar here, and I think that she needs more of that. Um, Gabriel Flores Jr., he's got ranked number 3 in the WBO. He's fighting on June 13th in Stockton. And then Michael Zarafa is supposed to be fighting August. And a couple names have been thrown out. Not sure which one they're going to take yet. But the zoos, I guess, both of them, whether it's Nikita or it's him, is supposed to be in line because of the fact that, No Limit, they try to build their fighters to, eventually fight each other at the top.
Right. Right. Wait a minute. Isn't Tim Tszyu gonna be fighting Sebastian Fedora because he vacated that WBO title? And are you talking after that fight?
No, I was actually talking about Nikita more than I was talking about Tim.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Y- Yeah. Wow. So you're a very busy individual in the sport, and I'm gonna let you know that one thing get by me if he could hang in the training. So the training is tough, huh? Huh?
I mean, I'm not going to dog my fighters, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Look,
yeah.
uh, look. Sometimes, like, the way I used to like approach training, right? The best way I can get it to make sense, I embraced every part of it. I just I put my mindset was like, okay, what next? I never was looking up at the clock when I would
Mm,
train. Like
mm,
I had to embrace it and just agree whatever it was gonna be today, it was gonna be that day for what that was.
yeah.
I try to get out of my mind like I'm tired type thing or keep telling myself that. I learned to like embrace the hard training. You know what I mean? Because I knew that it would
Yeah.
benefit me, but
I just think like most of these guys are like so used to like the very traditional way of just like, okay, I need you to go run 10 miles. And then they're like,
right,
okay. And then, so I mean, I've had guys last 9 minutes. I've had guys like after training with me last 24
right.
minutes.
And this is
Um,
all strength and conditioning.
this is just strength and conditioning. It's just, I mean, and it probably is a mind fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Right,
listen,
right, right,
I'm the tiniest little thing, and I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I'll give you an option. Do you want 9 or 12 minutes? And they're
right,
like,
right,
12. And then, they can't last for like, I'm looking at them at 9. I'm like, you're gonna pass out. I was like,
right,
okay, we're
right.
we're not going to continue. And I don't like training everybody. For me, like my whole
Mhm.
thing is like I need to know that you're going to push where you're not going to just quit because I don't,
Right.
so listen, it's funny to me, not funny, but ironic that I trained both Angelo Leo and um Tomoki, and they were both in the same training session with Nonito on strength and conditioning.
Wow.
When Nonito was fighting for Gabayo, they were both
Mhm.
sparring partners.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And
Wow.
Angela was always welcome to our strength and conditioning. And Tomoki's camp was like, oh, we're gonna run. Does Nonito want to run with us? And Nonito's like,
Mhm.
come and do strength and conditioning. And I partnered Nonito with Tomoki. Tomoki
Right.
lasted 3 rounds. And I was like, looking at
Wow.
him, I was like, I thought y'all were talking shit. And like, I'm the
Right,
worst fucking person because I'm the smallest little girl. And I start laughing when they can't breathe. I'm like, what's wrong?
right.
What happened? I thought you were
Yeah.
in shape,
No,
but to see
you
them fight together, like, I always wondered
right.
because they both came into spar Nonito, but they didn't spar each other when they were in the gym.
Oh, oh. Sometimes I guess it's up to the individual, Rachel, how your mindset or how they take it. Sometimes men are broken, They're like, oh shit, I can't do this. And sometimes when I got pushed to that level, I was like, yeah, I know, like, I'm coming back tomorrow because uh I'm gonna get better. That, and I guess as individuals, or you know, um and as athletes, as competitors, we always want to accept the challenge. We don't want to admit little Rachel is kicking my ass out here. So yes, I'll see you tomorrow because I'm not gonna quit. And I guess that's kind of like how you would have to have it. But these guys got to understand. And I did what you were saying, man. Yeah, we have to hold ourselves to a professional standard. And I wish teachings like this were passed down to our young men and women. I think that a lot of these coaches in gym take a lot of their secrets with them, and I think that we need to teach our next generation these traits to know how to push to the next level, to
I
embrace
mean,
these kind of changes. So
well, I mean, are there like stuff that the old coaches haven't passed down? Footwork is one of them, 100%.
yeah,
Mindset's another one. And mindset actually, as much as we want the coaches uh to form that, it starts at home. It starts, your
yeah,
foundation, and it has to be trained over and over again. And that's where I think that we're lacking. I think that when it gets hard, the generations now don't know what it feels like to hurt, and when it hurts they quit. And
right,
so, like, listen, if you pulled a muscle, broke something, okay, yeah, probably we should stop. But understand that if you're in a fight, that's a lot of people fight through it. Look at it,
right.
Naoya, he fought through an orbital bone
Look at
fracture,
your
right?
husband when he fought through his eye injury. He
Yeah,
fought through it.
so
Yeah,
yeah, but how do you groom that to the
right,
point where you're like, "Okay, like, this was hard during training and this is harder, but I'm not gonna give up now that it's right in my hands." How do you
right,
make that a strong man to say, "I know it hurts, but I'm gonna push through this, and then I'm gonna keep going." Like, that's the thing, is that making them uncomfortable, and in
right,
society right now, people don't wanna be uncomfortable. We're being so, like, agreeable and stuff like that because of the fact that they just don't want confrontation. We'll turn that into actual physical uncomfortableness. They just don't wanna fucking do it. He's
right,
like, "Oh,
right,
ow, it hurts." Like, "What
right.
hurts?" "Well, my quads." "Well, okay, it's supposed to fucking hurt. It was never supposed to feel like a
Right.
massage, dude."
Exactly. Right. Exactly. And it's learning to go to that next level as an athlete, and getting the person to acknowledge that what you speak about is a physical and a mental part of preparation to do, to get through that one thing, and it's sometimes it's hard getting the individual to recognize that, that's what it takes. If you want to get to the next level, this is what you're going to have to do, and this is how you're going to have to do it. And since in some gym, all gyms, I've never seen this, they don't practice drills where the coach is like at the whistle, he's like, all right, kid, you're gonna get punched in your face. You're going down. Let me see how you do when you get up. They,
Yep,
they don't
yep.
run those drills. So um, sometimes I think it's a little bit of both. You gotta be born with the instinct of a fighter. I've seen the fight get taken out of men. I've seen people check out in life. You could look into their eyes. They don't want to be here anymore. And sometime in life, in a career or anything, you don't no longer want to be there anymore. What you talk
Mhm.
about is confronting that moment, learning how to turn that around, knowing that just like in the same seconds you didn't want to be here anymore, you could turn that around in a split second and confront what the issue was. And it's all about mindset, preparation, and and and
Mhm.
and, and identifying the situation. And I think when we can do that in life or in the ring, we become better at what we do. Rachel, listen, it's almost 1 o'clock over here. I don't know what
Oh,
time it
yeah.
is over
It's only
there.
9 over here. Everyone's texting
Oh,
me from the Virgin Mobile. They're like, "You coming out?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I
it's
got
one of
you. I haven't talked to you
yeah,
for a while. I've been watching
man,
you, you know.
listen, thank you for your support. I see sometimes I'm getting rocked in some places, and you come in and say something nice for me, and I'll be like, "Yeah." You
No,
know,
listen,
but
like that's listen, as much as Um, boxing, what I've learned in the last like 5 years is that
yeah,
there are gonna be people that are gonna be fans of people, which is there's no wrong in that. But I think that
right,
when we learn from we can all learn. There's I don't know everything.
right,
Um, but if we have an open mind to learn things about boxers, boxing in general, then we can move the sport.
right.
But like the fact is that you do watch a lot of things, you know a lot of the history. And I will tell you, in my opinion, you argue with people that don't have that, and you're hitting your head against a wall on someone who hasn't read the book.
Right, right.
And I
Thank
know
you.
it's frustrating for you
Yeah,
because it's the same with me.
yeah.
And you just have to hope that, the people that are listening, it reaches them, because we're never going to change 100% of the world, but the ones that actually do want to learn and listen, it'll affect them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. Well, Rachel, thank you for tuning in. If you want to let anybody know where anything that you want to let anything know. I'm not saying anything. You don't have to say anything. I'm just saying if your Instagram or gym
Yeah.
or anything, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm on, X knockout underscore queen. I say some stuff there, and then Instagram, but you guys will see some stuff moving in the next
All
week.
right. All right, keep
So
us informed, always keeping us in the loop. You're always welcome here. Thank you for stopping by. Please don't forget to hit those like buttons if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Thank you for stopping by, Rachel. You've been amazing. Have a great night.
night.